Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Brendan and welcome back to the channel. I hope all of you guys are having a great day wherever you guys are from. And today we have another Bitcoin technical analysis and price prediction. And we're going to be making the argument for a $73,000 Bitcoin, doing some historical and technical analysis. So if that sounds interesting at all, make sure you guys stick around for the entire length of the video, as there will be important information discussed the entire way through. But that being said, let's go ahead and dive on into this guy, because as always, there is a lot to talk about. Now, one of the first things I want to highlight on Bitcoin is just do a simple little measurement of where we fell from of around $58,000 and measure this down to the current low. Now, this is about a 26% drop in the price action of Bitcoin. Otherwise, we can see this of about $15,000 to the downside. Now, if we want to go ahead and take this exact move and flip this and kind of make a measured move to the upside, we're going to see that if we draw this from our current swing high, or our current all-time high of $58,000, and do the same 26% move of about $15,000 to the upside, this is going to bring us right to that $73,000 mode. So I think that in order to understand if Bitcoin is bottomed or not, we really need to take a look at where Bitcoin has bottomed this run and what it's done on the most recent downfalls that it's seen on this great bull run that we've had over 2020 and 2021 so far. Now, in this same sort of scenario, we hit this temporary all-time high, this previous all-time high, before falling to the 50 EMA and thus the 200 EMA. Now, we saw a little bit of piercing action on this 200 EMA. The first bottom that we saw was above the 200 but fell through the 50. The second bottom fell through the 200 briefly, but then recovered above then and started, really rebounding from there. Now, if we're looking at this most recent run that we have seen on Bitcoin, we can see sort of the same exact scenario where we had our first bottom above the 200 EMA, our second one actually falling below the 200 EMA very briefly on this 4-hour time scale before rebounding, starting to use this guy as support, and then eventually even breaking above this 50 EMA as well. So I think that this is ultimately kind of a decision time for Bitcoin, but I think that we can both, or that really everyone can see here, is that this is looking very, very similar to what we have seen in the past over here. Now, there have been other scenarios of when this has happened on Bitcoin, but again, we really held this ever since we crossed it all the way back in October, very early of October of 2020. Now, I think the real question here is, can we repeat this same cycle? Obviously, volume is falling off, as we can see towards the bottom over here, but that could mean that we are squeezing for an explosion in price action, which could very possibly lead to the upside. Again, if history wants to repeat itself, which I think that there is no denying that these charts in the least look somewhat similar, could history really repeat itself, and could we just have another breakout of 26% to the upside, leading us to $53,000 over the next couple months on Bitcoin? Is that something that's possible? And I think that the answer is absolutely. Now, if we want to go ahead and move this over to the one-day chart, one of the other things that I want to highlight over here is that we bounced right off of this 50 EMA. So if you weren't convinced before that Bitcoin looks like it is repeating itself, well, another great analogy of what we saw on this last run was that Bitcoin came down here, bounced off of this 50 EMA on this one-day time scale, did not actually have any candle body closings below it. We wicked down and touched it and had all the candle body closings above it. Now, the exact same scenario happened over here when we saw this wick happen on Bitcoin. We wicked down, touched this area, bounced off, and we are now heading back to the upside. Now, that's not to say that we can't retest this 50 EMA, because that's something that is not entirely out of the books as of yet. But, going into that same idea of we look very similar to what we have done previously on Bitcoin, this is starting to look increasingly more like this, or really vice versa. This is starting to look increasingly more like this. So just one more final factor to kind of look at here is that when Bitcoin fell to the downside, we have to kind of acknowledge that we fell to around $42,000. And if we want to look at the previous top of this was around $41,000, $42,000. So now we have the previous, what could be bottom of our most recent downfall being the previous top. In other words, what was formerly resistance has now turned into support on Bitcoin. And on top of the support, the patterns look very identical. The 50 EMA is still being used as support, much like we saw in the past. This could very much be a continuation of where Bitcoin wants to continue towards the upside. Again, if we're going to use this former all-time high as support and bounce off of it like this, again, this kind of does look like a break, hook, and go formation and a very, very in a very bullish market, to say the least, which would all lead me to believe that this would just be a continuation pattern. And again, I don't want to look too bearish on this, especially because, just in simple terms, if the trend is your friend here. I was trying to think of the analogy of, like, if it looks like a duck and sounds like a duck, it's probably a duck. That's kind of the scenario that I was trying to use here. Not sure if that's the analogy of that originates from, but you guys get the concept. If it looks bullish, it sounds bullish, it's repeatedly been bullish, it's probably still bullish. Now, if we start seeing this this 1 day 50 EMA break on Bitcoin, and we start seeing this pattern that we have seen over the really last year almost now, if we start to see this start crumbling down and breaking in consistently lower swing lows and lower swing highs, then obviously we can start recrafting this and re-theorizing of what the future of Bitcoin could look like and what a market reversal top could look like. But until we kind of get to that point, I think that if it looks bullish and sounds bullish, this is just another scenario where I really don't want to counter trade the trend. The trend is your friend, and I don't see too much argument to say that this is actually a really, really bad scenario for Bitcoin. With that also being said, the MACD is rounding up on this 1 day time scale. The RSI had another lower swing high on this daily time scale. If you guys want to know what I mean by that, we have these consistently higher swing lows, which is another really good thing to see, showing that we could definitely have some more potential to the upside. And on top of that one, we are seeing that temporary bearish divergence, but again, I'm very skeptical about this. I don't know how much I agree with this one, because if we go over here back towards the RSI, again, we can see that theory of we are having consistently higher swing lows on this RSI as well. So I would expect us to push back up into at least the overbought territory above 70, because right now we're sitting at a pretty happy medium, moving ourselves into a Monday, and the last Monday was a little bit of a bloody Monday. I think the past 2 Mondays have been. So I'm expecting that this one will be a little bit different. Well, that being said, that is just about all the content I have for this video. Price prediction for the upside, again, if we want to have any kind of a measured move like what we have seen to the downside, that would lead me to believe that we could go all the way up to around 73,000, give or take some if we want to stay very bullish. Key resistance levels are going to be around 52 to 53,000. 55 to 56, and then of course that 59 to 60,000 of the previous all-time high are going to be another big one. So hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. If you guys did, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know if you guys are bullish or bearish from here. I love hearing what you guys have to say and talking to all of you about it. Also, hit the like on this video if you guys did enjoy it. It helps get it out to more people. And if you guys like the content, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because there will be a lot more content like this one coming your guys' way. So once again, nothing I said is legal, financial, or tax advice in any way. It's just simply my opinion, and it's educational purposes. So hopefully you guys did enjoy. That is it for this video, and until next time, I will see all of you guys in the next video.